I'm dressing kind of a suit that looks like brown or golden. I have, a big difficult tools. I identify the difference in some colors, but we'll use to represent like the Mr. Hanky, the talking poop, and then the criminals. So we'll have a conversation in the night, and it will be quite clear, as you can observe, and we observe this since the past, I'd say. We could check that the gap is logical and something made intentionally because it was systematic creates a lot of problem, and we had to use models to do the complementary knowledge about fact and circumstance. Kind of helped a lot. We could understand that the center of interest, considering the cross-cut at the security forum, will give me the prevalence as discretionary debit and fixed debit, and it's a decision by a unique single specific hand. It's an exclusive decision, and it's protected by this quality as exclusive. If the intellectual research is doing a contribution pro bono, for instance, with the United States and Europe, by the Constitution of the United States, we have the protection of these exclusive skills that is helping the America and Europe some way, and indeed we are against the crime. We will check that the organized crime inside the institution are bad human resources, do not have the good behavior, and they are there and remain there until this time by the internal failure. And for sure with protection at the top in each institution by the jet that must put them out, right? So they misuse the power to chase someone in general, or we all in general hurting the rights after violate the guarantees. We observe now that we can do the cross-cut, fixed debt, and discretionary debt considering the electoral preference, since the candidates up to the electors and options that you have in general to represent each one of the political parties in USA, for instance, and having the conglomerate of candidates which are the interests with the expectation as be represented by this, and the first premise is accomplish the American Constitution from the preamble until the bone. And we will observe that the America can, declare war against enemies or treasonous acts, which implies their own people in United States of America, even in Brazil, right? Our model is a cross-cut. The discretionary debt and the fixed debt as center of interest as exclusive decision, considering the options available to present the interest representing, or that will be represented by the interest representing the people, and the voice of the people represented by the candidates, right? Their difference. The gap, of course, that puts or allow them to be combined. Same thing here. We have a different environment, a division bell, a gap on it, and you have the coming and going, right? Inside your company or institution is the same. We are offering the institutional control, while data attached to the International Criminal Court and the antitrust justice as judicial power. Indeed, we did previously USA, but this time with the Europe. it's the same thing. We observe that the object complained affect corporations, government, states equally, even family as the minor cell of all this as the pattern we organize our society since the ancient times. It implies, I think, that before home. You violate premises by intention. If the premise says that this violation is a treasonous act, you commit a treasonous act. Right? Republicans and Democrats, and in the middle, the treasonal of both. We will have on mind that our model is quite simple. We have the protagonist, and we have codified elements at self-determination, surrounded by the environment that they are kind of presenting the things, right? We could observe and offer this model to the OECD chair number 1 anti-corruption and anti-bribery. 100% of result will be represented by the result combined legal and illegal. Illegal has no guarantees, can be seized, offshore business closed. The value can recover the regular thing since not linked with the organized crime. The counterfeit directory has eyes on it. The combination as beta of this macro environment of criminality, which is a micro environment at global economy, but with trend and ambition to become a unique thing, for sure not will happen, right? The model is quite simple. Take a look one more time, please. You have the protagonist, the International Criminal Court, and the antitrust justice. We have a system of criminality going as misuses of power to cover power previously misused by specific misusers. They are codified with optimized values. In general, in a regular, this space here is the space fuse, which implies a regular procedure or activity or something positive one, noticed as corrupted and finally unveiled as criminal. Corrupted negative one, unveiled 00. This period is the orientation to be chased. The first trace, the tracer is the negative one. We requested our blog, Risk Report 2023, tracenovember.blogspot.com, something quite simple, which is the right as having face-to-face with the offenders, them all, combined with Brazil as institutional decision by specific hands, I'd like to face them all, this time at person, right? On U.S. Embassy and the Embassy of Europe, with authorities with legitimacy to kill and the European Commission. Information shut with levels to the interest that deserve or must be reported about the event. Then, we will check that the first thing, as we told in the very beginning, it's the judicial rules in USA, considering by equity or others we do. The second one, dismiss before the criminal jurisdiction. And the third one, I don't remember right now, but these two are enough. We will do the internal control in a simple way. We requested to convict the procedural fraud, which is in general made by record, to hoax, keep the hoax, or allow the hoax as something evoked by the chair or by the element that must do the decision. Some way is a blind eye association, right? If we have this criminal scam unveiled, proved, evidenced, exposed, under follow-up, emblazing act, and We have, for instance, the situation here is my life or the life of the victim that in general will change, but we have the offenders as a constant. It means that in some way you know them all, and every time you delay or do not have the decision, they are kind of operating thing by the power misusers until the moment that they will touch the variable here or the victim, and we requested previously the proximity rule because we considered that this could happen, right? If you cross inside, you can be killed, right? It's a protection as a right, especially by the kind of vectorial aggression you are doing, systematic, continued, with no intent to stop hurting things beyond the limits of this private space, for instance, by the interest on it. Your behavior is like this. If nobody do a thing, we will skyrocket. And it's a behavior that in general we could check at that model as something as aggression. It comes that it starts with, for instance, stealing your, beach sweet, and we'll go taking your sunglasses, your watch or your clock if you are in UK, and then we will steal this credit, and you will not do this, for sure, especially by the interest protected representative if deserved 1% to do the cross-cut. With the other models, right? We will observe that our control goes quite simple. If the case is conclusive and the protagonists are inside the International Criminal Court and the antitrust justice, the lack of decision they do hurt my protection and security. In the same way, they, are affected by the right as protection violated. First, go at the institutional control. We have this management, I think that is Peter Drucker. Not Peter Drucker, but Peter Drucker. I think that's an American. Some American companies like to work at this kind of setting goals, right? Then we'll check that the second thing is, if the case is conclusive, why do you need more proofs, more time to be spended? Are you trying to kill yourself? The peers as antitrust justice and the International Criminal Court, considering the lack of will, OECD will present the peers with the interest as lenient behavior inside those courts and linked with the outside, which implies an interference, I would say, at this court, and this is insider trading. You are trading the lead time of the proper decision to get the most proper solution according with the groups of interest you both are serving, right? The judicial power must be serving the United States and the Europe as country or that you have in the case. The International Criminal Court must serve the justice as an ethical value. It will apply the very first consequence as procedural consequence against the judges at the antitrust justice, if confirmed, and the very first ethical consequence against the judges at the International Court, make decision variables at the International Criminal Court, right? We cut them out and they are kind of listed to be fired. Anything else I can do? Condemn to criminals. So have a great night.